People, deluded, I'm back again. You know, we're moving into the period now, ever closely edging to the period where the games across all competitions for all clubs, depending on who you are coming thick and fast. You know, we got out of it against West Ham. It is what it is. 6 points on the board. It's irrelevant. I know many people will be looking to that Liverpool game, but in front of us right now, we've got a tough Leicester side in the EFL Cup on Wednesday, tomorrow, to play. Quickly, people, I'm sure that Liverpool game was originally scheduled for the weekend, and then it's been changed. I'm sure when the fixture list first got announced, that one there was a weekend one, but I'll hold my hands up. I could be wrong in that regards. I don't know. But in relation to the Leicester one, you know, we've got to respect this Leicester side. I'm sure a lot of you watched that Chelsea game, you know, saw Mane pressing and had flashbacks of that happening to Arsenal, and you also we wanted to see Thiago. He got 45 minutes. He looked sharp. He probably starts against us. Many of our thoughts are in relation to that game and fixated solely on that game. That's good. But we can't disrespect Leicester. We can't disrespect Leicester because their manager in the Premier League now has got up to 100 wins, I believe. I've got it here. You know, after winning 4-2 against Burnley. Brendan Rodgers is on 100 Premier League wins. So he's probably buzzing from that, making him the 23rd manager to do such and the 4th British one. You've obviously got Leicester. They're coming into it on a strong form, you know. They've won their first 2 Premier League games. Last time they did that, they won the league title. I don't want to entice Leicester fans' emotion and stuff, but this is a scary Leicester side. You know, Brendan Rodgers has got them playing well. They performed very well across the course of last season. Yes, there was wobbles. Ultimately, for me, it should be a disappointing season for them because, you know, they performed above expectations, but they looked nailed on to get Champions League football at one point, and they failed to get that over the line. But they're a side that, you know, played well, even though they failed by their own standards last season. You know, it's better than us. We came rock bottom 8th. So this is a side that we know how to play. You know, did we draw 1-1 at the Emirates against them, where we said Vardy, last man, the shoulder. You cannot at any moment look over your run and not one Arsenal player is unaware of Jamie Vardy if he plays where he is. Because even if you look at Mikel Antonio against West Ham, it looks great. Bowen and Fredericks down the right hand side, but in the bulk of it, what has happened? You know, no midfielder has picked up Antonio's run. Gabriel and Holding are blinkered and looking at the ball. Antonio was able to beat his man and get something on it and put the ball in the back of the net. We've seen this before. You know, I'm not too sure in relation to what both teams are going to do, because I think there's every case for rotation and giving players opportunities of both teams that haven't got a look in yet, and seeing what they can do. Equally, I do believe, you know, both teams' players would both sets of managers be happy with the consistent sharpness levels and fitness levels of their players. You'd have to ask them, because for me, you know, especially for Arsenal, I don't know when Leicester are playing. I can check for you guys, but Arsenal are playing on the Monday. What is stopping us from putting our best team out, surely? You know, if Leicester are playing at the weekend, of course, but we're going to have days rest, people. You know, we kick off at 7:45. They play on Sunday, so it's Sunday and Monday. You'd think there's enough time really and truly to recover. So for me, the only question mark is the lineup, which we'll get onto in a sec. But looking at team news, you know, Leicester have 4 players which are doubtful. You know, you've got Ricardo, who's nursing a knee injury. You've got Benkovic with a groin injury. Wes Morgan has a thigh problem. You know, you've got Johnny Evans with no return date set, allegedly, with a thigh issue. Of course, you know, managers and medical staff could be hoodwinking people, but you get the point. In relation to Arsenal, we know Marie is not ready. He'll be expected at the end of September, which is now. Gabriel Martinelli is expected back in December. Mustafi is also expected, like Marie, back at the end of September. So these are 2 players that probably would have got game time, but probably won't. Socrates has a calf strain, allegedly. He might be back for the game. He might not be at this club. Emil's nursing a mashed up shoulder, and he's back in training at the end of this week. And Callum Chambers is expected back in October. So in relation to the lineup, I'm tempted to keep it the same, but there's also a need for rotation. I'd like Pepe to get some minutes. Pepe, who else did I have? You know, there's Pepe, there's Luis, you know, based on the fitness with injuries. There's El Nene to come into the team. You know, do you give a Reece Nelson, a Joe, and Eddie a start in a game like this? You know, Lacazette started 2 big games. Can you give him a rest? But is there a need for rest when, you know, we're not fully fit as a team? You know, when we're playing on Monday. If somebody gets injured, that's another case. But why can't we play a full strength side? So I'm a bit in 2 minds, people. You know, you've got Mesut and Guendouzi and Torreira, all with speculation over their futures, who could all play. But for me, my lineup would probably be Leno, David Luiz, Gabriel, Saliba. You know, I'd like Saliba to play, but I'm not too sure if he's ready. You know, if he's, again, it's cup competition and it's a good way to blood him in. But playing him away from home against Jamie Vardy, if you don't think he's ready yet, is it the wisest of options? I'm not sure. I'd like him to get minutes, but I'm not sure if he's going to play. So for me, if it's a thing where I would personally go, and I want to play Tierney, I think we can play a strong team. I know he's picked up a knock. Many people will say leave him out, and I 100% agree and see where you're coming from with that logic, people. But I'm in two minds between rotating the team and just naming a strong lineup and just getting the win, because regardless, it's a game against Leicester City. We know how good they are. You know, you've seen, is it Constance, how good he's playing? I can't say his name, but they're new lad. You know what Pritt's on. You know, if Pritt 1 week he's playing one lovely pass, the next week, this week he's scoring a lovely goal. You know, Harvey Barnes puts himself about, and I believe excluding Jamie Vardy, he's their most productive in terms of goals and assists. So there's a lot of problems that will be there, you know. So is it wise to throw Saliba into this game? Is it the best of environments? Or would it have been better if we got like a Barnsley at the Emirates, with all due respect? I'm not too sure. But for me, I'd probably go with the lineup. Let me stick with my gut, man. Leno, Gabriel Luiz, Tierney, right back Maitland-Niles, centre midfield Xhaka and Ceballos, left back I'm going with Saka, up front, Aubameyang, Lacazette and Pepe. But it's a difficult one, man. I understand if Tierney's left out and Maitland-Niles goes over there. I understand if, you know, we go with Saliba and Tierney plays as a centre, Tierney plays as a left back, and obviously on the right you've got Maitland. Maitland might not play. Bellerin's in there. You know, it could be Bellerin and Maitland. I think Saka would be unlucky to lose his spot. I think, you know, I'm looking at him to play against Liverpool, but I think he deserves to play, get a little run out and whatnot. Obviously, you know, Joe Willock, El Nene, Reece Nelson, Mesut Ozil, what's his name, Torreira, Guendouzi, players that are young, squad players, players linked with speculation, players that haven't got any minutes in the Premier League. Of course, you know, these are players that could play and rotate. But for me, I want to name a strong team to respect the opposition we're playing. I know it's not really relevant, but we've won 2 games. Yeah, it was a bit of a scrappy win, to put it nicely, against West Ham. More convincing against Fulham. You play a strong lineup, you know, Leicester do the same. You beat Leicester. It keeps this good feeling going, you know, sort of thing. But I understand if people are rested, because for me, you know, playing on Wednesday to Monday, we've got a lot of time, you know. There's a lot of recovery to be done. But I understand if players are not going to be risked, other players are going to be given more of an opportunity. I would like to win, of course, you know. The Carling Cup isn't the most prestigious of cups, but I don't think in my lifetime Arsenal actually have won that. I want us to stay in it because it's more of an opportunity for the kids. It's more game time to keep people happy as well. It's still a competition. And I just don't want to go out, regardless of if you rate the cup or not. Who wants to go out at the first time of asking you? Nobody wants to, really and truly. Everyone can say, oh, we're playing less games and all of that nonsense, but it don't make sense, man. We're playing a tough Leicester side who can counter-attack at will, who are very aggressive, who have a very good technical level. You know, Telemans looked good in his last game. Prett's been good. You know, they've got enough threats. It's going to be a tough game. You know, I'd put Luiz in there especially. I think it's a game where he's one I'm looking, if any rotation, to give Luiz minutes. Because I think you've got to go with Luiz against Liverpool, ironically, man. I think it's a game for communication and whatnot. I think Luiz, you know, for me, I'd probably go Luiz, Tierney, Gabriel, to be fair, against Liverpool. But, you know, my opinion will probably change by the time my review of that game comes out. But, yeah, man, that's in relation to my preview. Obviously, I'm like you lot, I'm waiting for what Mikel Arteta is going to say in his press conference. Knowing me, I'll probably come back and offer some additional thoughts. He'll probably throw some clangers up. You know, the main one for me is Tierney. You know, Tierney and Saliba. Saliba played for the 23s. Is he going to throw him in this game? I'm not too sure, because he should, but he shouldn't at the same time. Tierney, he had a knock. He wasn't involved in the matchday squad. Certain people would say just let him have this week off and play for Liverpool. I get that, but me, I think he'd play well against, you know, Brendan Rodgers, he knows him. You know, I think he'll play well against Leicester and get through it without any injuries or problems. People, my hay feet were starting to play up, so let me lock off this video. But hopefully it's a positive one, people. Hopefully we can keep the winning run going and keep the spirit going. I've got nothing more to add, man. So on that note, it's always a pleasure. DG.